Hello there everybody, welcome back again to Try New Things, where today we've got a fairly cool and breezy morning out here at the farm, but that's okay. That helps with a little bit of manual labor. Now today what I got planned is, this week earlier I got the last of my trees for this year that I've ordered, and I put those in the ground. I think it was Thursday or Friday night, and now it's time to provide them a little bit of protection. Now the reason why I'm looking to provide some protection to my young trees this year is last year I had I believe it to be a deer come through down near the creek, and he decided to rip all the bark off two of my young trees on one side, 3-foot, 4-foot strip. One was a maple that I got for free, and the other one was one of my new pear trees. Both of them look like they're going to survive, but my plan is to protect my investment a little bit this year and put cages around all of my new trees that I'm planting. And I just got done, like I said, planting a few more. I'll show you my apple trees that I've just recently wrapped in cages as well. But stay tuned, I'll show you my process for protecting young trees, in particular young fruit trees. Stay tuned. So the start of the process is this garden fence or critter fence. I pick up at Tractor Supply. This is a 50-foot roll by 40 inches high. This particular one I got on clearance, so that always helps. And the first thing we need to do is cut these up in a length that'll give us the diameter that we're looking for. Now in my case, what I found that works most of the time, and I can make them a little bit bigger if I need to, is I cut 5-foot strips out of this and then join them together to make the cages. So let me show you that process, and then we'll head down the hill and start installing some of these around some of the new trees. So in my case, I'm making these out of 5-foot sections, and once I cut the 5-foot section using some wire trimmers, then we'll turn them into cages. So I moved it out here on the lawn temporarily, hopefully give a little bit more contrast. I know the cage doesn't show up too well against the concrete floor. But if you have trees that are too large to slide this cage over the top of, what you're going to want to do is leave it in this state until you've wrapped it around the tree. Now my saplings that I just planted are small enough that I can go ahead and twist these lengths here around the other side and turn it into a cylindrical cage. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, twisting all these ends around to secure it into one complete cylinder, and then we'll go down the hill and install one around one of the trees. So we took a little time and we made up 7 of these cages, brought 4 of them out here first trip, and while I did so, the sun came out. So what a nice change that is making. But I'll show you the tree we're going to start with, and that's this little ginkgo here that I planted. And we're going to go ahead and install the cage. Now, cages do come with a couple drawbacks. One is it makes it a little more difficult to trim new shoots and growth off your new tree as they're growing. But the biggest one is trimming grass around the bottom. You'll no longer be able to get in there with a trimmer and trim, so you got to plan for that. But I do have a plan for that, so let me show you what I picked up to address the issue of making sure that grass doesn't grow at the base of the trees inside the cages. All right, so the first thing you're going to need is a set of these tree skirts. Now I picked these up on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description below, but this is a landscape fabric, good thick landscape fabric. I'm going to put this around the base of our tree, and the other thing you're going to need is some landscaping pins or spikes. So I got a package of these at the local hardware store. If I can find a link on Amazon, I'll put it down there as well. But what I do is I put the fabric down first, then I lower the tree on top of it, and then use my pins through the cage and then down through the material. And then there's one more step after that, but we'll get to it after we get these in place. So now I'm going to take my pins and drive it through the bottom of the cage and down through the fabric. So there we have one cage installed with the landscape fabric tree skirt and our landscape pins. The next step is to cover that fabric with some wood chipping tree mulch. And if I pan over here to the apple trees that I did last week, you can see what the final product looks like. So here's one of my new apple trees we just planted this spring, and there I have put some tree chippings or wood chippings at the base, and that's going to hold down the mat, make it look better, and keep the grass from growing inside of the cage. So I'm going to go ahead and get the Jeep in the trailer with my load of wood chippings, start chipping these up. Alright folks, there you have it. That's the TNT way to provide at least some level of protection from critters and deer for our young trees out here on the TNT farm. It has worked for a year so far. I'm hoping it's going to continue to do so, provide at least a level of protection while they're young and getting established. You can recycle those cages. Once your tree starts to grow up though, you're going to have to untwist the wires where you put the cage together. Just open it up like a clamshell and reuse that cylinder. But anyway, if you have any questions or comments, as always, leave them below. Do me a big favor and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.